In this course, I'm going to be developing in a sandbox PHP environment using PHP 5.5 as the server-side language. Only this major version will be covered for obvious reasons. I'll also be using MySQL 5.5 for the database for some of the benchmarking and demonstrations, and Apache 2 as the web server. Other web servers such as Nginx and IIS will not be covered in this course, but they should work. If you don't already have a server for development, I recommend using a local development server running on your workstation. In this course, I'm going to be demonstrating using a virtualized server running in my existing operating system. If you'd like a server configured using this technique, check out Up and Running with Linux for PHP Developers, here in the lynda.com online training library. As part of this course, I'll show how to configure that server to work with PHP 5.5. Regardless of the location of your web server, you're going to need access to the command line with administrative credentials in order to install and configure server software. For Mac and Linux, the terminal allows you to access the command line, which includes access to the SSH command if the site is hosted remotely. For Windows, you can use the free program PuTTY to connect via SSH to remote servers available from the official PuTTY website. I'll demonstrate writing code using NetBeans 7.3 IDE bundle for PHP. NetBeans is a free, open-source, and cross-platform integrated development environment from netbeans.org. The goal of this course is to demonstrate what's new in PHP 5.5, not how to use NetBeans. But with that said, I'm only going to be editing code in NetBeans. Any IDE or text editor will work. I will warn you in advance that NetBeans does not understand PHP 5 new functionality, and as such, will mark PHP 5.5 code as errors. The exercise files for this course are contained in folders by chapter and movie. On my workstation, I have them in a folder named Sandbox that my virtualized Linux server can access. Depending on your web server configuration, you may need to store these files in a different place, such as a remote web server or in a folder accessible by a local Apache and PHP stack. Be sure to import the included SQL and copy the contents of the folder named cards to your web root. A final note, as different web hosts and configurations serve content from different URLs, the address you see in my browser may not exactly match what you see on your workstation. Additionally, the locations shown in the command prompt demonstrations will differ depending on the location of site files and configurations on your server. The software configuration will be very similar, if not identical, across platforms.